Welcome to the next season of Beyond the Cut. Today is episode 1 with Elliott Sauvage, who is a filmmaker, content creator, and the visual lead for LSKD, a company that tells beautiful stories around the ideas of fitness, sports, and adventure. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and also special thanks to Uppbeat for sponsoring this whole season, but more on that later. Let's get into the episode. Yeah, I know we talked about, I think you might have commented on the video when I covered it, but this always strikes me like I'm like, this is a perfect fucking light. I'm
Yeah,
like,
dude,
how did this come about? Were you guys walking? You're like, oh, right there.
insane. Hey, yeah, that's it. Just on my phone.
God
It was
damn.
exactly like that in person. Bro, it was absolutely insane. Like, this place was ridiculous. It was beautiful. It was like an hour and a half out of Salt Lake City. And
Out
yeah,
of
the guy,
Salt Lake
like, you can,
City. That's
yeah, just like ridiculous, bro. Like,
the light's so
absolutely.
low. How much time did you guys get? Was that like, I don't
Um,
know, an hour?
well, that shot there was taken at 7:35 p.m.
Yeah, because I feel like did you guys have a lot of time to shoot everything? I almost feel like it's so low that it would
Yeah.
have been dark like so fast.
Yeah, well, this is at 8 o'clock p.m. So you can see the sun is still like in the
Yeah.
sky. And then I think this is at 8:45 p.m. So this is like, you know, the sun has like just gone down. But seeing it in person was like ridiculous. Like, we were just standing there just looking at it like, whoa, you have to go and walk down to that tiny little pocket. We probably got like 3 minutes before we lose
Yeah.
that little tiny pocket of light. So, yeah, you can see the steps, like the footsteps down off
On
to
the
the
rest.
side because we were like,
Yeah,
"Don't walk through the middle of it, like, walk around and then walk into it."
that's
But, yeah, we
crazy.
were just standing there just like, "That is insane." It's gotta be one of the craziest shots of the year for sure.
What's giving it that triangle? Is it like the
It's just the sand dunes. So off to the right
uh,
of this shot here, the way that they just shaped basically just created this tiny little pocket of light. So it was almost like the sand dunes above her
uh,
were kind of just like this. So
yeah,
it
there was
just
like 2?
allowed this little triangle of light to come through. Yeah, just insane. Hey,
That's incredible. That shot right there, actually, these 2 shots, but that shot with the moon in the back,
yeah.
when you see it, what was the idea? Is it like, "Okay, we gotta make this more creative, you stand, I'll lift up." Is that how the process is?
I think it was almost kind of like a bit of an accident because I was shooting, there was like the shot prior to that, which is kind of like the wider shot of him walking up the
Yeah.
stairs.
Is this
Yeah,
in the
that
same
one there.
spot?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think it was, but I think it was just a couple of minutes apart because you can see there's obviously clouds in that one and
Clouds.
they're not clouds in the next one. Yeah, he was like walking up and we did that a couple of times and then we were sort of just chilling because we thought, maybe we might get a little bit more of a burn on the sunset. And then I think I was just shooting this shot of him focused on him and my camera accidentally like racked focus to the moon in the background. And then I was like, oh bro, we got to do that. We got to do that again. And I'll kind of like count you in when to do it. And it's so funny because if you listen to the in-camera audio of this shot, you hear like you see the moon and then you see the camera come up and like just like I had to get him to do it a couple of times so that he hit the right spot, like just covered the moon. The in-camera audio is me behind the camera just like, "Bro, are you gonna see this shot?"
Yeah.
So funny, like, yeah, it is so
Oh
cool.
my god.
There's a couple of shots like that this year where listening back to the in-camera audio just made me laugh because it's just me behind the camera like, "Bro." Actually, another shot, yeah, that shot right there. So
Which it
that
comes
shot,
into focus, like
yep,
the wrist.
yep,
Yeah, yeah.
yep,
I was gonna ask
yeah.
about this 'cause I was like, this one is one of my, because I watched your YouTube video today. When I saw the shot, I was like, this one is so clean.
That was another one of my favorites of the year. It's such a weird thing to have as, like, a favorite shot. Like,
To me, it's not because when I saw it, I don't know, there's something about it that I was like, it feels good. That whole idea of like
mm,
it does that the feeling good part is what I like, and I'm like,
yeah.
that's the exact
Yeah,
same thing.
it was just like I got her to do every track athlete that I've worked with, they have their own kind of like routine of how they set up on the blocks, like, you know, the way they put their hands down, and they all have this kind of like step-by-step routine. So working with Brie, I've shot with her like so many times now, I kind of like understand her routine a little bit. And then she put her hands down and I was like, oh, let's do just your right wrist again. And it might actually be a really cool shot of the whoop band. So I had her kind of put it in and then get it to how she sets it up. And then I set focus, like super shallow. I was shooting at
Yeah.
1.8
Well,
or something like that. So
yeah, it's
super
gotta be.
shallow. So basically I just had her set it and then took her hand back and then put it back in again. And she just moved, she just leaned forward to like exactly the right spot. And yeah, you can hear me from behind the lens, just like, yo, I think it might even be in the video of me just like losing it because of how excited I got. It's so funny.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because it's so shallow and, like, the whoop is perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Oh
Yeah.
my
And I think that was the first take too. I just like set the focus and she just came exactly into focus. And I was like, yep, there you go. That's the shot.
that's what makes the yelling so much greater. When it's the first
Yeah.
shot and you're like, "Yo, we don't need to shoot this again." Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. If you guys are enjoying this, please like, subscribe, and share this. And if you guys are looking for high quality music without the hassle of copyright issues, Uppbeat is your one-stop shop. They offer thousands of high quality music, sound effects, AI playlist generators, and they are also rolling out motion graphics. I want to give them a special shout out because they are sponsoring the next season of Beyond the Cut, which includes this video you're watching right now. So if you are looking for high quality music at an affordable price, Uppbeat is the perfect solution for you. Head over to Uppbeat through the link in my description and start making those videos. All right, now back to the video. This umbrella shot.
Yep.
It's so the one inside like this,
Oh yeah.
because it goes by so fast, it catches my eye instantly. Where do you think of this? Because it wouldn't look as good if this umbrella obviously wasn't transparent. I feel like
Mm,
it wouldn't have that
mm.
same feel to it. But are you guys walking in the rain and you're looking, you're like, shit, like hold this out and open it when
Yeah.
you shoot
I
it?
think
Is
that's,
that
you know, like I was saying before, I think that's one of the biggest things is always like emulating what you feel when you're there and emulating what you see when you're there, you know? And I think this was another big one is like, you know, we were just walking around in the rain and then I put my umbrella down because I had to get a shot and then I put my umbrella back up again in the forest and then popped it open and I was like, damn, that's actually cool. Like, what if I just kind of like, you know, mounted my camera up to the umbrella and then popped it open as it was kind of like almost like it was rigged to the umbrella, you know?
yeah, like a
And
magic
then
arm, as if you had a
yeah,
magic
yeah,
arm to it.
exactly.
That would
Like
have
it
been
was just
cool.
fully bolted to it and just kind of locked it in there with my hands. And then basically just did that a couple of times and then added in, you know, I just did it, popped it open. I was like, okay, we'll add in a little bit of movement. And then I was like,
Movement,
okay, what if
yeah.
I start with it down like this and then bring it up and around and open at the same time? So you can see that as the umbrella opens, there's also kind of like the twisting motion
Yeah.
of like all of the trees and everything going past. But
And it's things
yeah,
that
it's,
makes it look really good too, right? Like that because it's like the background actually has this bit of a warp to it a little
mm,
bit.
yeah.
Just that quick shot of the clouds.
Oh yeah, the time lapse.
Yeah, the time lapse. Is this the natural colors, or are you, like,
Yeah.
doing anything about that's a natural
Mm.
colors?
Yeah, dude,
How
that was in
long
New
was
Zealand. That was that was crazy to see. We were there just, like, set up. We wanted to get a bunch of shots of the chimney. We were looking to get, like, a bunch of FPV shots and things like that, and I was driving the car at the time, and I had, Cody, who I was with, was, like, flying FPV around the car, and I was like, "Oh, we should just let me just quickly set up my other camera and just quickly get a time lapse of the clouds because we might be in for something cool." So I was just kind of like driving around as I was seeing the sunset, just like burning and burning and burning. I was like, holy shit, this is so sick. And then, yeah, the camera was back there just like capturing all of it. But yeah, the quality of light
Ah,
over there during sunrise and sunset is psycho.
that is insane, and just, like,
Mm,
it almost feels like, it's upside down almost, like a whole other
mm,
world to me. I think because
yeah,
the way the sun is hitting and it's, like, the shadows where the shadows are, It
Yeah.
almost looks like a whole other universe. That's why I was like, and
Yeah.
because it happened so fast, I was like, dang, this one really stands out.
Yeah.
Actually, before we get into it, what is your favorite shot of your whole year this year?
Oh, that's hard.
Okay, we'll do
Um,
three. We'll do three shots.
I'm gonna have to play that video back or just scrub through that video, see if I can find it. Yeah, it's hard to pick one, especially when you're so, like, you know,
Yeah,
emotionally attached to, like, the entire
everything.
year.
Because you also probably have like this attachment outside of the camera to it. Like what's happening that day. Like how hard was it
Yeah.
to get the shot? Do you know what I mean? How hard was it to get
Yeah.
the shot? Who was I with? Was I with, my partner? Was I with, my friends?
That one was a beautiful one. I really liked that one. I really liked the stuff that we shot out in the sand dunes, like, especially some of this stuff.
Yeah, this one's good.
Really
The
liked
the
that one.
the touch of the red light was nice too, you know?
Mm. That one, obviously, like, that little tiny pocket of light that we were talking about before
Yeah.
was crazy. That just like
Oh,
a
yeah, the little it looked like a
Yep,
guitar pick, a
yep.
guitar pick light. Yeah, this one is insane.
Another one that was probably definitely a very strong contender that isn't I actually if I think it's in this video, but only for, like, a second or 2, but it's actually in the other video. We were just traveling around, NZ for a week and, like, obviously, like, fireworks aren't really legal in Australia or New Zealand except for I don't know if it's one day or one weekend of the year in NZ called Guy Fawkes Day, which is named after a guy named Guy Fawkes who tried to burn down Parliament using gunpowder in, like, the 1800s or the 1900s or something like that. Basically, like, plotted to burn down Parliament, and he was, like, fucking, like, drawn and quartered for it or something like that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But now they have a national holiday called Guy Fawkes Day, where it's legal to buy fireworks and set off fireworks, and it's only for, like, a couple of days, and I didn't even know about it. Apparently, it was a thing, like, way back when my dad was a kid, and I didn't even know about it, and we were just driving through this town in NZ, and there was some dude by the side of the road with a van selling fireworks, and I was like, "What the fuck? Like, that
Yeah.
is sick."
You're
So
like,
we
"Is this
just
legal?" Like, "What do I do?"
literally, but
Yeah.
he was, like, right there in the middle of town with a big fireworks on. I was like, "Well, it must be." So we pulled over and started chatting to him. He's like, "Oh, bro, don't you guys know about Guy Fawkes Day?" Like, "Oh, it's fully legal." And we looked into it and it was like,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
you have
legit.
to.
So we just bought some fireworks and we're like, "Oh man, we gotta set these off. Like, this will be sick." Yeah, it set off 5 of them. And I was like, "Damn, that's really cool." And I was like, "Okay, let me just quickly, like, go back. I'll, like, reframe the shot slightly and then we'll set off the other one." It was so funny because I was standing there holding it. He was like, "Don't hold them." But, like, when we were kids, like, we used to shoot them at each other. So, like, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
hold them. It's fine. Set them off and I'm standing there holding it, like, had my arm up like that. I was like, "Yep, 1, bang, 2, bang." Yep, counted 5. And then I like the 5th one and I just kinda, like, relaxed my arm, just, like, dropped it down, and then it shot another one out. It was, like, shot out 6, and, because I had, like, a pretty loose grip on it, it shot the firework out that way, and then it shot the actual, like, canister out the opposite direction, and the firework went underwater and exploded underwater and basically lit up this whole area out in front of us underwater
Did you
and
get it? Did you
scared the
get the shot?
shit out of me. Scared the shit out of me because I was like, "Oh my god," like, bro, imagine if I was, like, looking at it or something like that, like
Pointing at your face.
and can you imagine? Like, I would've died.
Yeah,
Um,
'cause that's
but
crazy.
that shot would probably have to be maybe my favorite shot of the year just because, like, the laugh that we had after it was so funny. It was like, "Oh my god."
Kinda shocked, you're like, what happened?
Scared the
Why did
shit out of
yeah.
me, and then we just looked at each other and just wet ourselves laughing. It was so funny.
The stories behind some of these shots, right? I think it just makes it that much better. So this shot right here coming up, it kinda like tracks. It almost goes from the front,
Yeah, the light, that one.
like that one.
Yeah.
Are
I'm
you
glad someone else
eh,
noticed that as
like,
well.
dude, I always, like, have to go back and watch because I love the details and stuff, and I try to put myself in the shoes and how I would feel. I feel like if I'm on the bus and I'm not even recording, and then I'm just seeing the light kind of pass me by, Like, what the
Mm,
hell? And I would kind of turn and see it. Is that what
yeah.
happened? Is that like,
Yeah. Yeah, so what happened is there was, like we were going past, like, a bunch of trees, and then basically all of the trees the gap in the trees
is where
appears
you're catching the
to
light?
let way for the sun to come through from behind the trees, and you can see it's, like, just literally as we're going forward, you can see the trees, like, disappearing off to the
Yeah.
right side there, letting that sun come through, and it was just this wave of light that just comes, like, whoosh from, like, front to back of the cabin.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's, it's the same as, like, when you're on a plane and you're, like, tilting in the plane and you see the light from all of the cabin windows kind of, like, moving up on the inside of the fuselage is like that's what it felt like. Crazy, hey?
Yeah.
Just another one of those little tiny moments. It's like not a lot of people would notice that, but I'm glad you did.
Light just kind of, and like you said, felt like a wave that kind of hits you. And it's kind of cool that the people are kind of just still and sitting down. There's something about it that that's the only type of
Yeah,
movement.
yeah.
When you're walking past, are you like, this looks, as someone who looks at wardrobe coloring for work, like for all your stuff, are you walking past, you're like, this person looks interesting. I need
I
to catch
just
their
looked at her
shot.
hair. I just
Yeah.
like yeah, I was just kind of just standing there. I think we were obviously on the way to somewhere because we were at a train station. We were just standing there. I wasn't really thinking about shooting anything. I was just standing there looking at this girl. I was like, "Whoa, look at her hair." And then I watched a train go past, and it was like a green train, and I was like, "Look at her hair against that green train." So I just, like, saw another train coming and just quickly whipped up my camera, and then it just, like, sped through the shot. It kind of, like, blew her hair a little bit, and it was,
Perfect.
like,
Perfect amount of wind.
just oh, so crazy. Yeah, it was just another one of those, like, had, like, right place, right time shots.
Even the choice in the Whoop video, which I wanted to ask about, like the choice in the band color, the choice in the shoes, the wardrobe. Is that all you
Mm.
guys, like, you specifically chose those?
A lot of that I actually leave up to Brie because,
Three?
she is so good when it comes to knowing what looks good in content, like she thinks that way, when it comes to wardrobe and outfits and, even her bands. I just asked her, bring a couple of options for, like, shoes and for Whoop bands, because I was like, if,
Mm.
for the shoot, we don't necessarily just want, like, a plain black band like this. We kinda want something that's gonna stand out a little bit. I got her to bring the yellow band as well, and as soon as she put it on, I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's it for sure."
Yeah, the yellow band, even like the block, oh, like, yeah, stands out. Like, even like the shoes,
Mm,
I had like this touch of orange,
yeah.
even the blocks, like,
Yeah,
you
the
know what I
blocks
mean?
were awesome because I think they must be
Even the
new
block,
because every time I've shot with her, she's just had, like, plain silver blocks, and then she brought these ones, and they were, like, red and blue, and I was like, "Whoa,
it looks so good.
that's sick."
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask that because, like, a lot of people who wanna get to your level and, especially with people like Brie, who, like you said, she is probably perfect partnering with someone who loves doing content to know that,
Mm,
because it goes a long way when you start to see this stuff. I feel like it would
mm,
feel a little bit different if it was a dark green band or, like, shoes didn't pop as much. It, like, gives it a lot more life, I feel.
yeah.
Um, so I'm just trying to, like, encourage people to think about wardrobe or set design, kinda like look
Mm.
at it, kinda things like that, you know?
And if you're not wired like that, find someone who is. You would think that working for a sportswear brand for as long as I have, I would kind of be wired like that. But I'm like, I'm more just trust what other people think. If they're like, I think this would go well with this, I'm like, yep, sounds good.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'll trust you to make that call rather than be the one to make the call myself because it's, you know, not necessarily my strong point. And I think that's like that's another big lesson for a lot of this stuff is surround yourself with people who have strengths in areas that you're weak at, you know? Like you don't have to be good at everything. You can
Yeah.
rely on other people to be good at the things that you're not good at. And that's like the best way to learn is surrounding yourself with people who are better than you.
Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 1 of Beyond the Cut. If you guys wanna watch more episodes, you guys can watch them right here.